Hi, bigenderdotnet. My name is Paul. I am the other side of Bryn. I did do a Paul introduction video because I am vain and like to see my face on YouTube, I guess. So I have two intro videos. Um, but yeah, and actually, this almost guarantees that this will get a lower number of views than any other video I've done on either YouTube or on bigender.net specifically, since historically speaking, my Paul videos get somewhere close to like 3/4 of the views that my Bryn videos do. So, not that that's important. Um, so I am responsible for the question this week, and I was really slow in getting it put out there. So the first time I post this is probably the first time the rest of my channel mates are going to be seeing the question. So I apologize for any lack of preparation that I have imposed on them. I just created the question myself 5 minutes ago, so I have the least amount of preparation of anybody. But as Sam mentioned in her last video, I did just move house, as you may notice by the drastically different backdrop from my previous videos. So this is my very first video in my very new house. Anyway, back to the question, because it's a minute and a half in. How has accepting a bigender identity label affected your life? And for a bonus question, describe your first car. So the what I really mean by that question is, depending on who you ask or your approach to identity, one could say, I have always been bigender, but that doesn't mean you've always recognized that you were bigender, or if I, in that case, was bigender. I went through a couple of different labels before I hit on bigender, and I originally identified and came out, actually, I think, as a cross-dresser with a preference for the term transgender, not really understanding the way that it, the broad scope of transgender. But, and I sort of held on to that label for a long while, but I didn't really speak to, who I am. When I hit on bigender, which at the time I thought I was making up, but it turns out that other people have also made it up. It really spoke to me because it really allowed me to accept that I feel like both a man and a woman at various times in my life, and that that was okay, and that there was a way to make that happen. And since I really accepted that and embraced it and came out to my wife at the time as bigender and my friends, it's allowed me to really express myself in a way that I never felt comfortable with before. And, that's mostly with my newer friends. With my longtime friends, I still do sometimes struggle. I have struggled in the past with shedding the cross-dresser label that I chose the first time, because I think that people have a general idea of what cross-dresser is that doesn't actually match what the way the label is used by people in the cross-dressing community. Much in the same way that if you tell somebody bigender, they're going to have a particular sense in their head of what that means that may or may not relate to the way that people in the bigender community use the label. But I've, I think, made some more success. I've had some more success in the last couple of months with getting my friends to understand a little better what that means. And so it's allowed me the freedom to be who I am and have that seen by the people that I surround myself with in my life. Every so often I'll host a party at my house, a game night party, and invite my friends over. And lately I've been dressing as Bryn Not really because I am trying to make any kind of point, but because I feel, dressier or more spiffed up or more hostess with the mostest when I'm, um, you know, looking nice as Bryn than anything to do with Paul. My Paul style is generally somewhat slovenly. This is work style, so this isn't what I would wear if I were hosting a party. And generally, it's just t-shirt and shorts or jeans or something like that. So by identifying as bigender, accepting the label of bigender, and owning that, it's allowed me to find a way to explore and expand on who I am without having to really compromise. And it's given me the freedom to determine that, I am this kind of a woman. I'm not this kind of a woman. I'm this kind of a man. I'm not this kind of a man. It's given me the freedom to explore my gender and my expression in a way that I didn't feel comfortable doing so before. Now, how much of that is because I've accepted the label, and how much because I've reached the point in my life where I've decided to, live by my own rules? I can't really say that one is, one's the cause and one's the effect. I'm not sure which is which. That said, it also gave me the opportunity to create something that, and I've said it over and over, something I'm very proud of, something that has grown beyond my initial wildest dreams. I was looking on the internet for resources for bigender. The reason I thought that I had made the term up was because I couldn't find any references on the internet for a long time. And eventually I did find somebody owned bigender.net, bigender.org. Bigender.com was a clothing company. They've since changed their name, I think, to BE4 or something like that, but they still own bigender.com. But it was owned by somebody who had up a static web page. There wasn't a community or anything. And so I talked to that person about buying the site, and they allowed me to buy the domain names from them. And that's when and actually I held on to them for about 6 months before I did anything even with them. I bought them in October of 2009 and launched bigenderdotnet in October of 2010. I'm sorry, launched it in April of 2010. So now then for the last year and a half, there has been, this real growing community of people who support each other and recognize each other's identity and allow them to find a place to receive validation and acknowledgement that they're not insane, they're not alone, and they're not damaged. So, it's given me an opportunity to feel really good about myself in a way that I never had before, because I've never done anything that has created such an impact on so many people at one time. So it makes me feel good. And maybe it's tooting my own horn a little bit, but it is what it is. I'm a little vain, and that's what happens. Yeah, so I think that's it. It's had a pretty profound impact on my life, suffice to say. And I can't wait to see what Sydney and Mira and Vicky or Alex and Sam all have to say to contribute to it. Okay, so describe your first car. My very first car was a 1985 Ford Thunderbird. It was blue. It was a dark blue with a light blue interior, and it had a 302 cc engine, V8 engine. Man, that thing was loud and it was fast. I love that car. I named her Luann, and I bought her for $400, and I bought it for $200 and put $200 worth of work into it to get it running. I had it for about 2.5 years or so while I was in college. And thank goodness that was the period of time when gas was about between 90 and 99 cents a gallon, because I put all kinds of miles on that car. And I eventually did lose her, in summer of 99, I think she finally died. The transmission gave out, and it was coming up on 200,000 miles, and I couldn't couldn't justify spending $1,000 on a transmission for a $400 car. And I ended up getting a Ford Escort that was a 4-cylinder after that. It was quite a letdown, but I loved that car, and I had a lot of good memories in that car. And I think that, like a first lover, a first car is always something really special to people. And I'm always kind of curious to hear what other people's are. I'm not a car person, to be perfectly honest. I don't, anything I know about cars, I learned, at the side of my dad and my brother, who just innately understand these things. And, I'm engineer enough to know that if I unscrew 3 screws, I need to put back 3 screws. And that the part that I put in needs to look somewhat similar to the part that I've taken out. So I have banged around in my own cars and done some work on them, but that car will always be special to me. Coincidentally, my cousin had bought the exact same kind of car at the same time, but hers died out very quickly after, so I was able to steal things from her car that were missing on mine, like the inside door skin panel on the driver's side door, because for the first 8 months or so I had the car, it was just a metal frame that I was using to open and close the door and everything like that. So that's like 3 minutes on my old car that nobody cares about. Okay, so that's all I have for this week. Subscribe to our individual channels. If you go to the bigenderdotnet YouTube channel, you can see us all down there. Mine's Bryn Convenient. Subscribe to us, like this video, or actual videos of ours that you do like, and share and spread the word. So join us on bigenderdotnet for any conversations. We would love to have you with us and love to hear your opinions. Thank you and have a great day.